major expenses. One of the major expenses in life is having a car. It's also one of the most freedom, independence, joyful things. If you have the physical ability to drive, don't take it for granted. I remember when my grandmother was getting ready to pass away. She was from a generation where she was a homemaker, never worked, was basically like an immigrant wife, and she just never got her driver's license. And she said that was her biggest regret, not getting her driver's license, because it was a form of independence. But I would share with you that as I was looking online the other day, I was looking at vehicles. I was looking at electric vehicles and towing vehicles. You know, if I wanted to tow like a travel trailer, those vehicles are like $80,000. You know, I said, why would I get a mid to large size SUV that's $80,000 to tow a $20,000 trailer? Because if you add $80,000 plus $20,000, that's $100,000. I'd rather get a Class B. A Class B RV you can live in has everything for $80,000. But I don't know if I'd get a Class B RV, because $80,000 is $80,000. A pickup truck that's $80,000 is a lot of money. An electrical vehicle, a Tesla, that's 50, 60, 70, 80,000, that's a lot of money. You gotta spend a lot of gas to cover that expense. Just get a $20,000 Kia, sold. But I said to myself also, I remember when I was in a cycle of leasing. I think there's a season of life where you should lease to get a luxury car to experience that. But I also believe that you should go through a season of life where you stop leasing, because you realize you're not putting a lot of mileage on. It's better to have a car paid off and deal with some periodic repairs and have financial freedom than be caught in a cycle of every 3 years. You have to renew your payments, put a down payment, and that's stress. You know, if you think it's stress to change your brakes, go every 3 years to negotiate a new lease contract. That's stress. You know, like often in life, you know, sometimes we try to avoid stress and we create more stress. You know, sometimes in life people try to get around a job, whether it's a side hustle, main hustle, whatever. They try to get around doing stuff, and they cause more stress through financial insecurity. Financial freedom means that you have to create income and manage your expenses. So once you've created income, now it's your job not to fumble the ball, to protect the bag. Not to live so cheap you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor, but so wise that you don't become ensnared to the fruits of your labor. See, you want to have a vehicle so that you can go to a restaurant and spend money. You want to have a vehicle so you don't worry about gas prices. You want to have a vehicle so that you can travel and do what you want when you want. That's financial freedom. You don't want to have a vehicle so you have to work your entire life to pay it off. Balance. It's the hard thing to figure out. It's been one of the hardest things I've had to figure out. And there's a season for everything. But $80,000 for a towing capacity vehicle is outrageous. Leasing every 3 years for your entire life is outrageous. For most people, there's exceptions. Cars are expensive. They're the number 3 biggest expense in your life. Number 1's having a child. Number 2's having a house. Number 3 is having a car. So if your 3rd biggest expense in life is above $50,000, that's too much money for most people. Most people probably make, I would say, between $40,000 to $75,000 per year. And even if you make $100,000 a year, $80,000 is too much for a vehicle. It really is. And very few people are making $200,000 a year. Very few. Okay. I think percentage-wise in society, it's less than 10%. That means 90% of people should be buying a car under $35,000 and really under $30,000. Now, again, there's a season for everything. When you're young, I think you should have a vehicle or two where it's above your means and you're just out there, you're enjoying life. I mean, it's your first car, second car. You want to enjoy life, even if you're broke, even if you're living with your parents, enjoy it. But then there's a season of life into your 30s where it's, okay, I'm an adult now, an official adult. When you're in your 20s, you can say, I'm still young and reckless. When you're in your 30s, you're an adult, okay? And, that's it now, okay? And when you get close to 30, you better start really eyeing up that target of adulthood. Okay? Because there's nothing more childish than a 30, 40, 50-year-old person who hasn't grown up. It's Al Bundy. Okay? So I said to myself when I got into my 30s, let me pay off my car. And let me keep my car that I have for more than 3 years. And I did that. One time I caught backslipping very early on in my 30s. I just paid off a car. I was in it for about 5 years, and I had started dating again. I started getting out there, socializing again, and I leased a new vehicle, my own fault. And as soon as I leased that vehicle, I said, what a mistake. I said, I lived this season of life. Why am I going back to it? But sometimes we make a mistake. I said, okay. So I paid it off, for the 2 years, 3 years, or whatever I had it. Then after that, I paid off the car that I currently own, which I've had for 7 years. I got 250,000 miles on it. And I said the first key for most people to get financially free, because cars are so expensive, is as you're in adulthood, pay off your car and keep it for more than 5 years. And don't let money burn a hole in your pocket. Don't put too much money in risky investments. Don't gamble too much. And don't do drugs. And don't have too many kids, and don't buy too big a house. If you can figure these things out, they're not easy. They're the biggest challenges of your life. If you can figure these things out, you can get ahead. Why do you want to get ahead? Because what's the opposite of getting ahead? Getting left behind. Always reverse engineer every decision. Okay, what if I don't get ahead? Then you're going to be living a life of destitution your entire life. Why should you suffer if you're more intelligent than that? Why should you work a job below your potential? I've met some people online. They claim to be mentally ill or mentally disabled or childish. They're very childish, but when they get disrespected, they get diligent, vicious, and very intelligent just to prove that they're not dumb. And then as soon as they prove that, they go back to being dumb. That's why I said, fuck you. If I was your social worker, I'll put you to work. Because why are you only diligent? Why are you only vicious? Why are you only persistent when you want to prove that you've been hurt? That shows me that you have intelligence, but you only use it out of pure vindictiveness. You're not dumb. Now it's time to take adulthood on. And don't lease too much. Don't buy too big a car. And don't act like you can't do something to produce an income if you can drive a car. Because if you have a driver's license, that means you're not 100% disabled. It means that you're able to make a delivery, whether DoorDash or truck driving, whether Amazon Flex or UPS is hiring. Cars are expensive. And so is living a life below your potential. And so is living a life above your potential, but then not managing your expenses. And that's what this video is about. I hope it provided value. If it did, click that thumbs up. Hit that PayPal or that join. Okay. But I want to tell you this, guys. We all need grace. I don't want to be too boisterous that we need grace, but we also need accountability. We also need to learn from our mistakes. And if we make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. But say, okay, eventually you got to try to get out of that cycle of leasing. I remember I leased again, and someone, I liked it. And they like me, like, Sam, you went back to leasing, that you're always going to have a cycle of payments. And I was like, he's right. I can't tell you. Right. But sometimes, guys, we make a mistakes a couple times. That doesn't mean we just give into it. It's like, okay, I got to learn from this. And I hope you got something from this video. It's not easy, but try. If you fall, get back up. Because laying down, sleeping too much, creates so much anxiety, so much stress. Your body's begging to get up. Your body's begging to be put to work. And you fucking force it to sleep. What a disgrace. Get out there, live your best life.